Nowadays you can build pretty much any app that you want, right? You can just ask Cloud or Gemini or whatever, just build me this app and it will do it for you. But there are some apps that are quite impossible to vibe code because they took years and years of build up to reach where they are at the current moment. That they're so complex that it's quite hard to even understand how they're built. And these apps are quite impossible to vibe code with the current data length that we have. So this is going to be a new series which I'm building. It's going to be called apps that are too complex to vibe code. And this is the first part of the video, and be sure to stay tuned. Okay, so the first app I'd like to talk about is a audio interface software. It's actually a DAW software. So the software is called FL Studio. So DAW basically stands for Digital Audio Workstation. It's basically a tool that is used by producers, musicians, and singers in general to create and compose music, right? They compose music, they put sounds together, and just that's what's basically used in studios, right? So DAWs in general are just piece of software that makes it easier to work with audio in general. So you could compose audios, you could use instruments like a MIDI keyboard, you could use microphones, studio microphones, audio interfaces, drum pads, all those things, right? It can help to create an interface to connect all those things. And also it could also create digital interfaces to plugins that are given by softwares. These are called VSTs, virtual studio technologies, which were created in the 18th century by Steinberg, which is basically, he created this software to allow other companies to collaborate and to make softwares and instruments basically to be a plugin to these DAWs. So DAWs in general are they're quite complex in their nature because they're dealing with audio processing. And especially one thing I like to talk about is FL Studio in particular because that's what I've used to make music as my hobby. So I just want to talk about because that's what I'm familiar with. There are other DAWs and all of them are great and complex in general. Like we have Ableton, we have Logic, we have all those tools, right? They're quite good in their own terms, but I just want to talk about FL Studio for this current time being video. And this mostly applies to others as well because they're built around a similar structure, which is first, they're in their meat and their inside, they're basically an audio engine, right? They're basically an audio engine built especially in the C++, which is what FL Studio is built upon with the engine, and it's really complex the way audio processes audio. That it's so complex and so well done that it almost has no latency when playing audio, especially with pure computer speakers, right? It's really good at audio processing and really good at playing audios, even with effects, even with multiple physical instruments being connected to it, like a MIDI keyboard, a microphone, a drum pad, and even VSTs, as we talked about. All those things being added. Not just those, but also even layers and layers of music and audio being built on top of effects like reverb, all those things being built on top of this. It would play it at the exact timing, right? It's really precise, and it's kind of incredible how it processes all this audio. It's not just available in one platform as well. It's not just in macOS, it's also in Windows. And this is quite incredible because audio processing in general is very hard because audios are very complex pieces of data because they deal with timings, right? Timing is really important, especially in audio. So having the wrong timing could really affect the way the audio is being processed and played. So these DAWs help to manage that, and they make it easier to hold on and make all these pieces of music. And just to talk about one aspect of FL Studio which I really appreciate is the piano roll. So the piano roll is basically a piece of the software that enables you to layer notes together to make chords and melodies, and basically gives you like a visual presentation of how a piano would be if you were to have a piano. And basically this works for all the instruments that you're gonna have in FL Studio. This can be a guitar, this could be a VST, like it could be like a plugin made by another company, right? All these things, it would all route to the same piano, right? It would be the same piano roll. So this piano roll is basically interesting because it's quite simple when you look at it, but that's what makes it really complex, because it's quite good at replicating and working with this realistic piano feel, right? It's just, I think FL Studio has, in my opinion, one of the best piano roll interfaces compared to, I've worked with Ableton before, and I appreciate FL Studios more because it's just way more intuitive and way more easy to work with. It has panning, it has audio levels, it has slides, it has Portamon, it had all these things built on top of the piano roll. It makes it really easy, even for people who don't know how to play audios, to get into this and to use it, right? I'm not saying FL Studio is easy to use for beginners. I'm not saying that, but it's at the same time, it's not as complex as you think the interface is, as how it's built beneath it, right? So I feel like making complex things simpler for people to understand is the ultimate test of how you want to wrap and abstract all these complexities, right? So yeah, this is just a cover-up of how I think LLMs can't really replicate this type of software, because it's really hard to process this level of detail, right? Because they need to have specific knowledge about audio processing, which they might have, which you could train them to do, but it's not gonna be as perfect as the current DAWs, because they also have multiple people working towards the build-up of this, right? You have multiple years and years and years of feedback and years of fixes to reach to this level. So it's going to be really hard for the current LLMs to replicate any part of this. Even though you could get close to replicating some parts, some aspects of this DAWs, but it will be really hard to have this perfect wordplay of DAW, which currently exists. So I think it's quite interesting if how and where LLMs will reach in this aspect, but I think it's possible to replicate some of the parts. For example, you could make a VST using Cloud or any LLMs. It is possible to do that, right? It is easy to do that, but saying that you want to build your own DAW is really reaching to its end, because it's quite hard with the current LLMs, as we talked about. But you could create some aspects, some parts of the DAW for yourself living it with the current LLMs. So FL Studio is quite interesting software. It's very impressive the way it's made. I truly appreciate the way it's made by the engineers. It's quite a marvel the way it operates, right? Because as personally, I make music as a hobby, and just making music, it just teaches you like how much effort goes into making your music sound just right to your ear, or it requires multiple effects, multiple tuning, multiple automations, and I didn't even get into automations, which are just mind-blowing in their terms. Basically, you could automate how an effect will behave throughout the audio, right? You could have it in different layers, in different scopes, in different tunings. It's just endless. So that just makes me appreciate this type of software more, right? So so this is just the first part of the video. This is complex software that are very hard to replicate with vibe code. So thank you for listening. If you want to catch up with the series, this is my first video. Be sure to subscribe and follow, and I'll see you in the next one.